difficult to have Lightning strike twice in a row. Meanwhile, Ohio State trying to avoid that early deficit and then maybe get an advantage themselves and let that nation-leading defense go to work. So here we go. And Ohio State awarded possession off that opening draw. Jack Oldman is an excellent face-off specialist for the team. In fact, won 12 of 18 draws in that earlier game, and that was no small factor in the outcome.
Now, for sure, Ohio State being able to get possession as much as they can, despite the turnover right there, gave them a lot of the ball, made it a lot more difficult on Michigan. But things like that, those easy turnovers, are what really cost these teams.
And maybe that was one of the reasons Ohio State was able to get back in the game. Michigan making some mistakes offensively of that sort. But in a big game like this, maybe there's some jitters early on, and that type of a mistake in the opening seconds is not all that much of a rarity. And now Michigan will get the first chance to go on the attack. Up for Alex Gatto. Putting some moves on and cutting to the middle. Looking for some options against this outstanding Ohio State defensive unit. Luke Shanahan, one of their top players, their second leading scorer with 25 goals, working on the right side. Now they go below the gold X. Trying to come out. They get a screen right in front, wide open. And Caleb Fyock makes an outstanding save as right in on top of him, Nick Roode, the 32-goal scorer, leader from Michigan. And Fyock just took it away from him.
And got very lucky because he had a wide open chance right there, right in on Fyock. Slipped behind Johnny Cool and then just could not finish off the job there.
Well, you can't ask for a better situation and to get your top goal sniper wide open like that right in front, but that's why Fyock is All-American caliber keeper. He won that one-on-one duel. Now Ohio State with it. This is Logan Solberg. He had a hat trick in that victory over Michigan. They work it up high, and there's a blazing shot, but it went well over the top by Liam White. A 20-point score for the Buckeyes, a second-team All-Big Ten selection. And now in control it is Jake Struck. And his shot after losing his defender, and a good save there by the Michigan goalkeeper, Hunter Taylor. And while he doesn't have the reputation of a Fyock overall, if he has a game where he's really on, that could be a big plus for Michigan.
I said to you before we went live, he's a streaky goaltender. If he can get in his groove, he's going to have a very good day. But if he's out of his groove, Ohio State's going to start getting shots in pretty easily on him.
An indication that he might be in his groove is that stop that he made on Struck, who also walked in uncontested. Although he didn't get as much on the shot as perhaps he wanted to, it was nonetheless an excellent save. And both goalkeepers have gotten into this game with an early save. Now Michigan working Cade Goldberg, a Georgetown transfer where he scored over a point a game for the Hoyas over 36 games. Engineering things in their inverted attack. And being defended, but coming out in front and watched very closely by Kyle Foster. Both teams trying to assert some control here early on. There's a tough whirling shot that went well wide by Elliot Dobick, a 4-goal scorer, but they had the backup to maintain possession. Once again, trying to dodge in a whirling shot, and again, Fyock is there making the save on the short side, and it is scooped up by Blake Island, another All-Big Ten player who got it out, and Johnny Cool is on the move. Swings it out on the left for Alex Marinier, a 24-goal scorer and the leading goal scorer on Ohio State. Last year he had 50, and the teams are maybe keying on him a little bit more than they did a year ago, but he's still leading the team.
He had a lot more space last season being the big thing. Ohio State midfield was very, very dominant last season. Only recently this season have they started to really come into their own. Players like Solberg, Walsh, White, and Struck for Ohio State. But a lot of players last year made a lot more space, were a lot high danger chances, especially a lot high danger players, especially early in the season, which gave a player like Marinier a lot of space to get those chances.
Ohio State, a fresh unit out there coming from behind. The shot went well wide from Garrett Haas, trying to duplicate his late game heroics in that game a week ago.
Had his defender beat there, no question about that, just missed the shot.
Now, better miss it in this situation than at the end of the game when he did not miss.
Rather miss 4 minutes in than with 4 seconds left.
And Now Michigan back on the attack. They know what it's like to win a game like that. They defeated Penn State, a team who's awaiting the winner of the Maryland-Rutgers game. The number 8 team in the country at the time. Michigan beat them with a goal with 12 seconds left. And those things happen in lacrosse. It is not that unusual. You have to really be concentrating every second defensively. There's a shot by Gatto right on goal, and again Fayok making the save.
He's trying to have a better performance today than his last game. Only managed an assist against Ohio State after a lot of goals in a row.
And now, once again, Michigan trying to come out from behind. Udell, the shot, and again, Fayok eats it up. And after robbing Roode with the tremendous save early, it seems to have given him a lot of confidence. And now back on the move, Ohio State. Dominic Shaw, he pulls it back out of the box. And they'll set up to Liam White, and then they change on the fly, both teams.
Udell did well there getting by his defender. Goes over top of him on the shot, but just puts the shot right in the middle of the body on Caleb Fayok. No, it does everything right, just needs to place that shot better.
Struck 21, who had a great chance earlier. He was a state hockey champion from Olentangy Liberty in Columbus area. Now back up high it goes for Solberg. Solberg moving around wide. He's a Syracuse transfer. Had 4 years for the Orange before coming to Ohio State as a graduate. Right out in front. Backhand shot. That was blocked. Bounding up in the air. And on top of it, Garrett Haas, who picks up that ground ball very adeptly. Out for Solberg. And Ohio State with a good hustle on the ground ball, and you get another chance. It's like in basketball, getting more than one shot. Very important.
They're keeping possession. The more they keep possession, the less pressure's on their defense.
Now with some room to accelerate, Liam White dishes it off. Back below, they're putting passes together, moving the ball quickly. Solberg back for Haas. Working from X. He's being defended by out in front, and a dodge and the shot. Good defense was being applied there by Michael Kelly, and the ball comes loose and scooped up by Will Tominovich, one of Michigan's top defenders, along with Rowan Clay, who's probably their real anchor defensively. Those are the two guys that really have to play strong today.
Both lead the team in cost turnovers, 21 and 20 respectively. Obviously Clay, a first-team All-Big Ten nomination.
Long Gilman-type pass, but the whistle had already gone. And Ohio State will gain possession as we are at the 8:07 mark remaining of the first quarter. Some early scoring opportunities for both teams, but still no score. And Ohio State collects the ball at midfield. Jackson Walsh, he was a big offensive factor in that Ohio State comeback.
Really was the player, especially just by watching him. You don't expect him to be like the guy that you're looking out for to score. That's what a lot of the attackers look like it talent-wise. But he was able to get in space and has done a lot this season. And his shots, they're high-quality shots. He places them very well.
15-point scorer on the year. Now he's got the ball up high. He's got some room. Decided not to pull the trigger. Dish it off. Now works it to Khalif Hocker, a 5-star recruit freshman. The shot, that was blocked. And another good save made by Hunter Taylor.
The goaltenders are on par right now.
Khalif Hocker from Cincinnati, from St. Xavier. Dominant prep player. Had an opportunity there, and Michigan now back on the attack. Who's going to break the seal first here? Michigan had that 4-1 lead early in the previous game. They have not been able to get the jump here so far, but both teams have had chances. Strong goalkeeping each way. They swing it out wide, then trying to get room to cut in front. Tyson Cooper. But they got the slide and cut him off. Now it's Udell in front. And the jump shot, and then he puts it high-low for the goal. And Michigan once again has claimed the early lead.
Got to try to get a long pole on him because he's getting by the short poles. As good as Ohio State's short poles are, those defensive guys, it's just not been working.
Jack Oldman wins the face-off. And he's a face-off go in this case as he wins it, makes a great pass and a shot for a goal by Jake Cohen. Set up by the Fogo Oldman. scores a big goal to get the offense going. Just so shortly after Michigan took the lead, that's a big momentum boost for Ohio State. Now they battle, win that ball off the ground. And this is Dylan McGee emerging from the pack.
Ohio State winning a lot of the faceoffs here, controlling possession.
That ball just a little bit high, but Jake Struck brought it down as they complete their change. Solberg, and they get their fresh troops and their top unit out again. Solberg with the dodge. And then he is forced off wide right, down to Haas. This time from the other side, nothing in the middle. Once again, Haas working from X against Will Taminovich. Back up high, they reset. Marinier out for Struck. Struck being marked by Carson Billing. Got a little bit of a screen, and he whipped it down low, but it went over the head and the straining stick of Liam White, and there's an uncaused turnover.
Again, it's another time where Ohio State's just making plays and they just sail a pass over a guy's head. Very nearly did it trying to get that play set up, and then just did it there to lose the possession.
And of course, even though they had position on it, the fact that it was an errant pass dictates the turnover. And Michigan in possession again here. As they get back onside and get their attack started. And Bo Lockwood steps on and accepts that pass from Elliot Dobick. Near side, Cade Goldberg. Slinging cross-field passes. Alex Lobel tried to get to the front, but he was double-teamed. He had to play it back up high again. Goldberg once more in front. They score on a quick release off that centering pass.
Hopkins lost to Ohio State despite beating Maryland and Penn State. Penn State beat Maryland and Ohio State but lost to Johns Hopkins. Maryland beat Ohio State but lost to Penn State and Johns Hopkins. And then, of course, Ohio State beat Johns Hopkins but lost to Maryland and Penn State.
Well, it just shows how well balanced the Big Ten is in lacrosse. Saw those banners with all the titles for Ohio State, and they able to add another one, but they'd like to go even further this year. And they're facing a 2-1 deficit, though, at the moment. Jackson Walsh dishes it off to Haas, trying to win some space, but he's hounded. Can't get a shot off. Taminovich was right on him, sticking to him. Walsh from X now moving against Josh Ford. Michigan defense just hounding Ohio State right out in front. No room for a shot for a Burt whistle. And again, they have to reset. Looked like maybe he had a half a step, but a good recovery there by Jackson Tolmach. And then the shot, and that one went well wide. But Ohio State will maintain possession because it was off a shot rather than an errant pass. And they will keep the pressure on, although Michigan has not really allowed them any good looks, even though they've been defending for an extended period, and they're down to 8 on the shot clock. Now the shot and a save. A good save again off of Khalif Hocker by Hunter Taylor. And Michigan defended well for an extended period there.
Taylor's getting over to these shots very well. Ohio State's really favoring the corners right now, especially with Hocker being pushed more to the outside. He can only get to that corner, so Taylor's getting right in front of it, using the body to make those saves. And that Michigan defense is keeping Ohio State off the board.
They utilized almost the entire shot clock. They did get a good shot at the end, but their keeper was well positioned. And Michigan now looking to go up too is C.J. Riley. He was a Big Ten player to watch this year, 9-goal scorer. Out it goes for Alex Gatto, and he lost it to Cullen Brown. And he cleared it out. Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten, Cullen Brown. And he showed a good example of why. But Michigan gets the ball back with that scrap from the ground ball, but it's knocked loose again. A big hit laid on by Khalif Hocker, but Michigan still able to come up with the ball. Chris Gain, but what ferocious action there.
What do you expect? It's Ohio State and Michigan. You're going to expect it to be physical. Both teams trying to go for plays. Michigan running in. Marinier just having a fight off a check while the ball was on the ground. And then Michigan's able to get the ball out of there. That's the big thing, is the team that's able to get the ground ball. Because now you get possession back. And as little as scoring is likely going to be in this game, every possession matters.
But that defensive play by Cullen Brown certainly really indicated the type of season he's had and the type of player that he has been. His father was a Super Bowl champion, so definitely comes by that, honestly. And there's a bounce shot that went well wide from Elliot Dobick.
Cullen Brown does make it look easy defensively. He just causes turnovers very, very simply. You see that a lot from Rowan Clay as well on the other side for Michigan. His players make it look easy.
His dad won a Super Bowl title when Scott Norwood missed that famous field goal right at the end of the game. Out in front, they try once more, but this time it was, once again, making it look easy. Cullen Brown picks it off, and then he revs forward, spearheading the attack. Dropped it off of the backward diagonal pass, and then he'll retreat for a moment, and then they get back onside. Looking to see if they have a chance to direct attack on goal, and then if not, they'll set it up and work offensively in a more methodical fashion in the final minute of this opening quarter. Dylan McGee in possession on the right, trying to work on Carson Billick. And they'd like to get a really good look here. The shot clock and the game clock are almost identical, just about a 3-second difference. And they're taking their time.
Ohio State will be content to wear this down to the very, very last second of this shot clock. Shot clock, like you said, just slightly shorter. They just don't want Michigan to get the last chance.
Clearing out for McGee, but his pass picked off, and they just might get the last chance with 13 seconds left. And a fast run out there by Jack Marlowe. Still in possession, a good pass, and then a great defensive play on a trail check by Solberg. Otherwise, they would have had a great shot. And Solberg quite possibly saved a goal there in the final seconds of the quarter. Well, you really have to tip your hat to that effort, but some great passing to set it up, too, off that transition. Michigan has a lead, but not as sizable a lead as they had early a week ago. We'll see whether Ohio State can keep them from expanding it and not have to make a mad comeback attempt as they did. Look at this battle on the ground after the face-off. Both teams are really not sparing the body or the effort and going after it. Patrick Kelly for Michigan still in play. Finally snatched up again by Cullen Brown, making a great play and again making it look easy.
As difficult as it was as well, making it look easy.
And now Ohio State in transition. Jack Oldman, who set up their goal. Now he'll get off, but he's more of a Fogo in terms of face-off go. And then with the opportunity, he'll get off and they'll get their regular personnel on. But he's a guy who can make things happen, do more than just face-offs. And now we got a flag.
Michigan's going to be offside here.
And that shot went well wide from Liam White. But with the flag down against Michigan, it'll be a man-up opportunity for Ohio State. And let's see how they fare against Ohio State's man-up unit. Jackson Birtwistle puts it in play. Buckeyes fan out, start passing the ball around. 50 seconds on the shot clock. Bypassing a long shot, trying to set up something down low. They work it up high. There's a shot and a big save by Hunter Taylor. Jackson Walsh really fired the ball. That's one of the best shots they have had, but Taylor was equal to it.
Good man-down defense there from Michigan. Really didn't let Ohio State have much at all in the way of space, and really until that last shot.
And now they've got their man on again. Ohio State utilized every second of that opportunity, and then that shot sails way over the goal, but they will maintain possession.
It's twice Birtwistle's been able to get some space to shoot, but he's missed the target both times.
He's just zeroing his sights. They keep giving him those opportunities for the whistlers that he can fire, he will make them pay sooner or later. Work it up high. Thought about another shot, but continued the pattern. Trying to get a half step on that defense. Now they move it over for the shot. Goal! Fired by Marinier, and there we go. He said he was going to come to the surface, and there it is, goal number 25. And he made no mistake. So excellent ball control there for the Buckeyes, and we're tied up at 2 here. And a big goal. That ball is on the ground, and coming out with it is Tay Rodriguez right down the pipe, and he scores. And Michigan reclaims the lead quickly.
Third goal of the season for the freshman Fogo, Tay Rodriguez.
Ohio State did something similar when Michigan scored first, and Ohio State bounced right back to tie just seconds later. And Michigan again wins the draw as it was snatched up by Nicholas Valtrus, and they get fresh troops out. So this is where the faceoffs are so key. If you can win some consecutively, you can really build some momentum. They scored once, if they could score again here, that's the way you can really turn the course of a game around.
It's a free possession if you win the faceoff. Take that possession, work with it. Especially now you have a lead if you're Michigan. You keep that Ohio State offense from touching the ball.
Dobick. A lot of basketball similarities with lacrosse, and back in the cage area, that's what they did after every basket. They had a jump ball. They work it out. Michigan looking for a shot. This is Bo Lockwood. Put the brakes on after he was really being worked over by Jack Lehman. Once again, working from behind. This is Goldberg again, but he was really marked well by Owen Lee, and then the ball ended up with Fayak, and he distributed on the outlet, and Ohio State coming right back. This time leading the charge, Island, and blocked and off to the side. And Ohio State will maintain possession.
Marinier again, space to get that shot off, just did not have that one on target. I couldn't tell if it caught a piece of a Michigan defender on the way, but if not, that shot was pretty far off.
And Ohio State, after a good defensive stand, right back to it. This is Island. Blake Island with a great dodge, and the shot, that might have hit the post. It got by the goalkeeper, or the keeper got a piece of it. Whatever, he'd walked right in and was denied, and now Michigan comes out with it. Tvinovich plays it across to the near side, and out they come with Dobick. That was a close call, though. They barely came out unscathed. Now it's Alex Gatto getting a step on Jake Cohen. The flag flies here. And now Michigan will have an opportunity.
I think Ohio State was offside that time. Owen Lee stepped over the midfield line. Needed to stay back in the offensive half before waiting for the robber.
Sometimes it is very tempting to break early or to not come all the way back. That ball sent across the body with a good pass over to Roode. Scored the second goal. Now for Gatto. And a whistle. And we've got a timeout as Michigan prepares to go man up. Michigan in the man up position, trying to establish a 2-goal lead. And they're working the ball around well here at the outset. And right in front, the shot, and a great save there by Fayak on Roode. That's the third time that they've had quite a one-on-one confrontation. Twice Fayak has prevailed, and Ohio State comes right back in transition in front. Hocker scores, and so the great save sets out the transition goal.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Down to 4:45 and counting in the second quarter of this Big Ten quarterfinal matchup. Ohio State, Michigan, the winner goes on to face Johns Hopkins in the semis. And Michigan once again has taken the lead against Ohio State. That pass almost picked off, but it gives them an opportunity to move in Shanahan a shot, and they score. They went for the interception, couldn't get it. That gave Shanahan the room he needed, and he popped it in. I would say that Michigan could have a bigger lead if Fyock had not made several of the great saves he made, including the two where Roode had him right in front, and the one that would have led to a goal had it not been for the challenge that was successful. But Michigan leading 4-2, but here's Oldman coming up with a face-off and sparking an attack again. And Ohio State really needs to get something going here in the last part of this second quarter to give them a little bit of an up note at the break. Because right now, Michigan is a confident team.
And 2 goals and a half just not acceptable, especially for a Nick Myers team. So this offense has got to figure out something.
Yeah, Lacrosse isn't as high scoring as it once was, but 2 goals and a half, that's not much at all. That shot goes wide, but again, not a real good look by Marinier. I would say on the whole, Michigan has gotten the better opportunities, and maybe the shots they've gotten off have been a little bit better than Ohio State so far. But the Buckeyes back to work. Hocker, he'd like to get one back, and he's certainly capable of it. 25 seconds on the shot clock. Scampering around the screen, Liam White, but he still could not release a shot as he had Chris Gain right on him. 15 seconds. Trying to ward his way in front. Jack Long. Still no opportunity to shoot. Dish it off for Haas. His shot, he scores. 3:01 to go in the second quarter, and Michigan's lead is down to 4-3. And Michigan awarded possession off the face-off.
Yeah, Oldman just a little bit early there.
Everyone just trying to get that little advantage. Taz Rodriguez, who turned one face-off into a goal earlier, and now Michigan calling a timeout. So Michigan now coming off the timeout, trying to get a goal to recapture some of that momentum into halftime. Here is John Morgan. Needed out in the roll dodge by Gatto, Alex Gatto. He played it down low. 50 seconds on the shot clock. Michigan has plenty of time to try to create something. Udell scored a goal to get Michigan going after his 5-goal and 7-point effort in that Ohio State game a week ago that really kept Michigan right in contention until the very final seconds. He's got it again. And the shot, Fyock made the save, and he was well defended by Blake Island as he just had this knack of getting open, but this time Island hounded him and allowed Fyock to stay well positioned.
And not an easy save. A handful of the saves have been shots right at him, Fyock. But that one a lot harder, right off the near side hip there. Had to get down to it. And that is definitely a chance that could have ended in a goal a lot of the time.
Fyock moving it up, a dangerous pass, and he's well out of the goal. It is intercepted. Moving in, Ford, he scores. And that is certainly one that Fyock would love to have back. He's an excellent ball distributor. He's confident enough to wander out of the goal, and Fyock, nobody in this field is feeling worse than him right now. And he'll just have to continue to play goal the way he's been playing and hope his teammates can get those back as they did in the previous game. Did that ever happen to you in your day? I bet it's happened
many
to every
times.
goalie at one time or another.
Multiple times I'd be walking the ball up, not see a defender behind me, and I'd just get the ball knocked out of my stick, and it's a wide open goal behind me.
So Michigan has been living a bit of a charmed life here in the second quarter, starting with that negated goal, and then they scored a goal on a shot that Fyock's vision seemed to be somewhat impaired, or the ball was deflected coming in, and then this one. And Michigan with a 5-3 advantage. Here's Jake Struck trying to strike to get that goal back, and a bounce shot just wide. And now Ohio State could really use a goal to try to just get that bad taste out of their mouth from the way that last goal was scored. And getting a chance for a shot, and that one is fired wide by Marinier, and if anybody can snipe that one, it would be him.
They're starting to get space, but they've got to get these shots on target. You can't be missing, especially in open space.
Now a dodge by Solberg. Had a hat trick in that victory over Michigan last week. And here goes the flag as he was being marked by Jack Marlowe.
I think Marlowe's going to get a cross check here.
Ohio State looking to try to orchestrate something here in the final seconds. Struck with Marlowe still on him. No, and he's picked up that call. There's a shot in front, deflected, but they got it back. Fired by Marinier on goal. The save made by Hunter Taylor. Still loose. Both teams straining for it. Hocker comes up with it with 8 seconds left. Managed to get it off to Liam White. And the crowd is screaming, shoot the ball, but the time expires. But a big factor here is that penalty call that was made against Michigan there late in the second quarter. Now a man-up opportunity for Ohio State right at the start. And they could flush a lot of things away if they were able to score early here in the third quarter. They did a good job earlier just working the ball around, setting up one shot at the tail end of their man-up chance and capitalizing earlier. And they're patiently working it around again here now. They dump it to the middle of the shot, they score. A fine setup there by Jackson Walsh to Jackson Birtwistle, and it's a one-goal game again. And Birtwistle converted. We mentioned he'd been missing the goal a couple of times earlier, but he was right on that one. That's what he said. If Ohio State is able to sharpen up a little bit in terms of getting balls on frame when they have the chance, this thing could turn around.
And winning faceoffs like that's a big key to it, but again, there's
bad
turnovers.
Pass, though, and it's given away to Roode after Ohio State had won a draw and they were in position to try to tie the game. They just gave it away on a simple A to B pass.
And Ohio's got a lot of offensive players here stuck back on defense.
They had a similar turnover right off the start of the game, and now they have one right at the beginning of the second half. Players getting back on side and getting the proper players in the proper positions here.
Still just one more Buckeye back, but Michigan's got all their offense on right now. Liam White just guarding John Morgan at the moment.
That is a possible situation that could be exploited if they pick up on it. Working from Udell to John Morgan. Morgan marked by Liam White. They're going one-on-one. Michigan moved there by Gatto, but a good recovery by Blake Island. They work it to the far side, and Ohio State defending with great determination here. We're down to 7 seconds left in the shot clock, trying to get a shot, and they score. The flag flies afterward, and it's Udell again. But he was still able to get the shot off, and it managed to find its way in. Ohio State winning the draw. Oldman dished it back in. Once again, he sets up Cohen almost for a second goal with that pair. But a bounce shot went wide. And it's 6-4. And once again, Ohio State, after they got the goal to make it 5-4, a very, very uncharacteristic turnover on a bad pass allows Michigan to get the momentum again. A lot of those types of things are happening right out here today on this pitch.
And the downside of Cohen's shot missing wide after it was saved, but there's no guy back for Ohio State to chase that ball, so it's an easy possession back for Michigan.
And here they are now trying to establish a 3-goal cushion. This is Dobick. Pursued by Owen Lee. Get a little bit of a weave going back of the goal. Out for Lockwood. 30 seconds on the shot clock. There's a good move. Got a step, and then down low, up high again. And a shot from over the shoulder shot there. A goal by Bo Lockwood. Well, Pistol Pete Maravich used to say you can't always make the play on a conventional play. Sometimes you have to go behind the back or do something unorthodox. And there was a great example of it. He shot probably would have been blocked if he had just taken a conventional shot. And once again, though, Michigan taking advantage of an unusual type of circumstance, and they now lead by 3, and they have just had everything going their way imaginable here in this game. But Ohio State still just 3 goals back, but they've got to get things going offensively the way they did when they scored to cut it to 5-4. Now it's 7-4. Trying to get some space for a shot. It's Janowitz, but finding it hard to come by against the work of Michael Kelly. Back up high for Birtwistle, who scored earlier and shot it, and over the top. Ohio State maintains possession. They know that they're capable of coming back in a situation like this. They did it a week ago, but there's a pass that's picked off and carried out by Patrick Kelly. Kelly into the box, dishes it off, and Michigan will once again go into their offensive alignment. But Ohio State looked like they possibly had a shot, but that pass intercepted, and now Michigan can build the lead to 4. And Ohio State seems to be pressing a little bit on offense now, which of course they need to have a sense of urgency, but a couple of these turnovers are not helping their cause. Now Michigan almost obliging them with one of their own, but the ball is recovered. Gatto with a step on Liedl, but he was able to angle him off. They play it over to the near side for C.J. Riley. Shifts to his left hand. Still no shot. Michigan getting a lot of good off-ball movement. The pass across, they score. They have capitalized several times for goals, but at least gotten really great shots and forced Fayak into outstanding saves in those bang-bang opportunities right in front of the goal. And now they win it again. Here's Weller. Last time they lost 2/3 of the faceoffs. They lost most of the faceoffs early in the game, but now they just seem to be cresting in just about every area. They have a 4-goal lead and the ball. After Ohio State had cut it to 5-4, we still have 9:10 to go in the third quarter. Michigan has scored 3 times and pressing for another one. Dobick. And they really, really looked sharp on that last possession that led to the goal. Riley, who just scored, dish it off up high, and that shot whizzed wide of the net from Udell.
So Udell's feeling it right now, getting that chance.
He's starting to get that feeling that he had in the previous matchup. Here's Lockwood. Bo Lockwood out for Goldberg. Michigan is just looking like they got some swagger out here. Confidence just oozing right now. Dobick. He is being defended by Blake Island, and the pass out back to midfield. Scooped up there just as the shot clock expired anyway. So Ohio State's defense steps up, and when you've got the nation's leading defense and they need to step up in a game like this, they can turn the momentum around.
7 goals a game against for that Ohio State defense. Michigan already has surpassed that in this game.
And we still have a lot of time left in the third quarter. And they have been full value for most of those goals. They did take advantage of a couple of breaks, but they've also had some extremely well executed ones. Here's Marinier double teamed and had his pocket picked, and out comes Michigan again. Flying out on the attack, Dobick. Pass it out to the left, They did not go straight to the cage, and they can utilize the clock now with the advantage that they have. If they can get a transition opportunity, they'll take it, but if not, they're content to just set it up, work it around. They've been so effective offensively anyway.
They don't need to score more right now. The big thing is not letting Ohio State score more right now, and they're doing a fantastic job of that.
And, of course, possession is 9/10 of the law. When they have control, Ohio State can't generate anything on offense, and they've been controlling the ball exceptionally well here of late. This is Dobick. Had it knocked out of his stick by Brown with another one of those deft maneuvers, and he gets them back out. Dominic Shaw on the break. He can do it by being physical, or he can do it with a finesse move like that. Either way, he creates the turnover. Maybe that can inject a spark into Ohio State.
Big issue right now is we keep saying maybe. Maybe, and the defense is causing these turnovers, but the offense isn't doing anything with them. Can't be maybe anymore. It's got to be surefire.
Yeah, Michigan has been the surefire team. And here is Solberg. Made it out for Hocker, who had that goal disallowed. He'd love to get one back. Send it out wide, back of the goal. Trying to vie for position. Solberg scores. He did win that little bit of space that he needed and gets the Buckeyes within 3. And that makes it 8-5 Michigan, and now the draws taking on great significance. Let's see if Ohio State can get back to dominating the circle as they had, and there they do come up with it. Matt Mayfield, who outside of Oldman is their face-off specialist. And they've got good depth in the position. Mayfield, a freshman, and they'll be able to count on him to do much the same thing in his Ohio State career, as Oldman has done. And now they can cut it to 2, and this could be a real key to turning a game around if they could get some momentum and then win those face-offs and get another chance immediately. In their last possession, they went from maybe to definitely. Almost beat 2 defenders and get a shot, but the ball was just knocked loose at the last moment, and Tominovic came out with it. Tominovic pass in front, and they tried another one of those shoulder shots, but this time Patrick Kelly got jarred just as he was trying to release the ball.
Kyle Foster, just a last-ditch effort just to put him off on the shot because he was wide open on the doorstep, and just, like you said, just jars him, stuffs him there. Hit him like a linebacker.
And Ohio State with another opportunity here. And the scarlet and gray clad fans urging them on. Solberg sent wide, and he got it off to Burt Whistle. Burt Whistle shot, he scores! And Ohio State is on the road back, down just 2 now.
They've had the ball a lot because Ohio State's turning over the ball a lot. They're forcing a lot of turnovers despite not winning a lot of these faceoffs.
And then Michigan gets another one, though. Jackie Weller comes up with it, played it forward to Ford, and they score again right off the Ohio State goal to get him within 2. Jackie Weller, the second faceoff specialist for Michigan, started it all by winning the faceoff. And now he and Oldman tangling again, and Weller comes up with it again.
Weller looking good here.
And they had that earlier one when Taz Rodriguez won the faceoff. He went right down and scored. And now they did it again. And it just seems like every time Ohio State makes a move, Michigan's got a counter move. And then again, they could go up 4. Just over 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. That's a pretty heavy screen there. As the Ohio State player, Kyle Foster, ran right into C.J. Riley. It's been quite a physical game. There's a diagonal pass that got picked off, and out comes Jake Cohen, who's already scored a goal and almost got another one in this game. Pursued hotly from behind. Just managing to ward off Gatto, and then he dished it off for Liam White, and Ohio State on the attack. Trying to get something before Michigan gets set up defensively. But it's not there, so they drop back out, and they will work more deliberately here.
nearly had that chance. I think Marinier might have had space for a shot, but I think the defender was in the way, would have gone right into the body there.
Solberg back for Hocker. Kind of get the feeling that it could still be a big finish yet to this game. Hocker, second man, came over and picked him up before he could get a shot. And the ball sprayed out to midfield, but recovered by the Buckeyes. 25 seconds on the shot clock. Solberg. Marked by Jack Marlowe.
Got to go quickly here.
Down to 15. Up high for Liam White. Rowan Clay, the all Big Ten defender on him. They're down to 5 seconds. Haas going to just try to hurl one toward the goal. He does. He never got a good shot in the second at Michigan. Great defensive stand there that they needed after Ohio State was trying to get back to within 2 again.
Once it got down to that short time, they realized Haas wasn't going to have time to get a pass off, so they just doubled him, put another guy on him, and was able to force the turnover.
Michigan, with some sharp passing, moves it right upfield, and they settle into their offense again. Under 2 minutes in the third quarter. Everything is magnified now. Ohio State with very little margin of error if they're going to come back. This is Udell. He has been unstoppable over 2 games. Orchestrating the attack. Pass it back. The shot by Roode. And Fayak got his stick on that, knocked it away. Might have been going over the top, but too close for comfort. Can't take a chance. Now Michigan again in front, but that pass picked off. And out comes Ohio State in transition. Brown again. He just has the Midas touch back there. It just seems like everything he does.
It's the eyes. You're reading it the entire way. He knows Michigan wants that pass. So as soon as they go to initiate, they're making that pass, immediately steps in the lane, gets the stick up, and makes that interception, forcing turnovers.
Great anticipation, very high lacrosse IQ. Now it's Janowitz for Ohio State into the last minute of the third quarter. Working from X. Got a man open. They got it to Solberg, the shot, and it might have hit the post. But a great dish there in front as he saw Solberg spring into the open. Haas got it to him, but they just couldn't quite deposit it into the goal. Now back out for Marinier. Down low. They still have time. Marinier can't get a shot, but he drew 3 defenders, so tried to find an open man, but Michigan still sliding over and preventing a really good shot opportunity. We're down to 10 seconds. Once again, Ohio State running out of time on a possession, as they did on their last one. And the Gilman pass sent downfield. And Michigan will get a shot. I believe the time might have expired. Roode fired it. Fayak made the save anyway. Some all-freshmen, a unanimous all-freshman selection, along with Luke Shanahan for Michigan. But here we go with the fourth quarter, and Ohio State winning the draw. What do they got to do here to come back? Maybe right now. That pass by Oldman as he set it up for Solberg just wide, but Oldman has been making a lot of things happen.
I think the big thing for Ohio State's the turnovers. Has been the entire game. You're winning these faceoffs. I mean, Weller got a few on Oldman there at the end of the quarter, but when Oldman's getting those faceoff wins and as plentiful as he has, you can't afford to be turning over the ball, wasting that chance that your faceoff guy just got you.
Well, Ohio State's defense has really got to batten down the hatches here and hold Michigan down to give their offense a chance to come back. If Michigan's able to add 2 or 3 more goals, it might be too much of a mountain to overcome.
Even one maybe, as little as Ohio State's offense has been able to produce.
The pressure's on their defense, and of course they lead the nation defensively. But Michigan has really had the answer to them for the most part. 9 goals, even though Ohio State's defense allowed just over 7 this year. There's an errant pass, though, quickly scooped up, and Haas and the Buckeyes fly to the attack. Can't really get the edge on Tominovic, so he'll hold up. But Michigan with a bit of a gift for Ohio State there with that early turnover, giving the Buckeyes an early chance here in the fourth quarter. This is Solberg. He has been playing outstanding today along with Burt Whistle, and whirled it, but right into the clutches of Hunter Taylor.
I think he was trying to get a pass there to Burt Whistle on the doorstep. Burt Whistle wasn't there when he turned around to make the pass. It ends up looking like a soft shot.
Another way Michigan's been going today, that one would have gone in. Similar to the goal that they got in the second quarter.
Yeah, the Shanahan goal that still couldn't tell really if Roode got a piece of it, but unsighted Caleb Fyock on that shot.
No, Michigan has scored 2 goals, and the one on the turnover by the goalkeeper and the negated goal. Ohio State could easily be in front in this game, but ifs don't count for much.
Can't just blame the things that aren't falling your way. You got to make things happen.
And that's what Ohio State has to do now. Bo Lockwood and Michigan trying to lock this one down. And we got it over for Goldberg. Up high to Udell. Now for Dobick. Dobick below the goal. Ohio State again just spreading out, utilizing the time, but they're down to 15 seconds on the shot clock now. Could not receive that pass. Snapped it up quickly again. Down to 8 seconds left. The shot, and that one hit the post and bounded right back out. Dobick had Fyock beaten, but he was well positioned, so in order to beat him, he had to hit the post. At least that's what all the goalies would say, right?
He'll say he had it covered.
And now it's Ohio State, and in this case, I think he did. But Ohio State now, having held Michigan, trying to get back to within 2 goals here with 11:45 to play in regulation time in this Big Ten quarterfinal. Jake Struck with a step there on Josh Ford, who scored 2 huge goals for Michigan in this game at key junctures. But now Michigan's got to tighten up defensively as they have been playing well all game. Struck got the screen. Still can't get a shot off, and then he's doubled. The ball's knocked loose. It's on the ground. Nearly picked up by Tominovic, but Ohio State got it back. Then they get the open man, the shot, and Marinier scores. A great backward diagonal pass to the open man, great awareness, and it's a 2-goal game. Tominovic was going to come up with that ground ball, but he got ridden off. And in the ensuing disorganization, they got it to Marinier for the goal, and now it's 9-7. With still plenty of time to go. Michigan again winning the draw, though. Yeah, and they'll try to settle things down a little bit. They were really in control at one point, fairly late in the third quarter. They had an 8-4 lead and seemed to be really dominating at that point, but now Ohio State making a move. But Michigan has had the answer. Every time it looked like Ohio State was coming back, Michigan has been able to generate something to give them the edge again. We'll see if they can produce something similar here. Controlling it. Morgan got it off for O'Reilly. Scored a big goal just a little while ago. It is Udell. Who else? 20 seconds on the shot clock. Trying to get a look. Gatto moving right in, and he shifts to the backhand. The shot went wide. Great move, though, but Ohio State comes up with possession.
Gatto went for the shot, and in doing it, he lost his footing, which allowed Cullen Brown just to make an easy run and dive to get possession back for Ohio State. It was a great move by Gatto there, getting away from his defender, able to get straight in on net. 10-man ride on here.
The goal is open, and a long shot catching the Michigan defense napping Kyle Foster, and that makes up for the one that was scored earlier.
Tried it last week against Michigan. hit the post right in the corner. This week, no question about it, squared it down the middle, made Michigan pay for the 10-man ride. And how about this? We've got a 1-goal game. In case the shot goes over, they can get possession out of it, but didn't need it that time. And how about this for the face-off win?
And now here comes Ohio State again, trying to tie it up. And the shot was blocked before it got through. And moving it out, 51, Patrick Kelly for Michigan. Michigan, they like that 10-man ride, and they can use it effectively. But that time it backfired, and now it's a 1-goal game. And maybe that's a sign that the breaks that have been going wholesale for Michigan most of the afternoon are starting to even out, if you call it a break, but just a goal that you'd have to say you'd like back if you're the Wolverines.
It's the low percentage goals you want to avoid. Both teams have been getting them a lot today.
And that was certainly eminently preventable. But Michigan still with the ball in the lead, and they have done a really good job, much better on the face-offs in this game than in the previous contest at Ann Arbor. And that's at least keeping Ohio State from getting a run going here. Right in front, Roode scores. Once again, they convert beautifully in front, Dobick. And he goes over and greets the Ohio State fans over there as it's 10-8. They've scored several of those types of goals right in front, those quick release shots.
Talk about the low percentage goals. How about a high percentage goal right there?
And yet again, Michigan is able to come up with the goal they need when they need it. But here, Ohio State wins the face-off. Matt Mayfield played it back to Fyock. And now they get started again. Once more facing a 2-goal deficit. Dylan McGee, the returnees from last year's Big Ten titleists. First time that Ohio State had won it, and they won it again this year, sharing a 4-way title. But they're on the ropes right now in this quarterfinal tournament game. Marinier over to Hocker. Up for Burt Whistle. His shot, and that one is handled by Hunter Taylor. And just about all the shots that he needs to make the save on, he has done. No soft ones have gotten by him, save the one there he was out of the goal on that long shot. And Michigan again trying to make it a 3-goal game. Ohio State did win the ensuing faceoff after they made it 10-9, and they actually launched a pretty good shot that could have tied it, but it was blocked at the defense. And now Michigan has seemed to steady things out a little bit again. And it is Udell. And a lot can happen in the last 7 minutes. Now back of the goal is John Morgan. Up high. Now Ohio State trying to really dig in defensively as they have all year and snuff out this Michigan attack at this key time of the game. 15 seconds remaining in the shot clock. Some room in front. Walked in front. They score. John Morgan all of a sudden found himself alone. An almost magical ability to do that. 4th goal for Morgan, and not one of their big goal scorers. He sure picked a great time to get one. Mayfield comes up with a draw again for Ohio State. They keep making a charge, getting pushed back, and they make another charge. This is maybe their last chance.
For Morgan, that's his first goal in 2.5 months. Last goal was against Lehigh on February 14th.
I think he's going to remember this one a lot longer. Here is Struck. Played it off on the far side to Solberg. Ball's on the ground, and out comes Michigan as they snatch it up. And a good play there by number 18, Billick. And the mountain gets even steeper for Ohio State.
Michigan just needs to hold on to this ball, take as much time off the clock as they can. The less Ohio State offense has the ball, the harder it becomes.
I think they've reached the point of the game where they can do that without fear of getting stagnant on their attack. They're still looking for something. If they can get a shot, they'll take it, but they'll also use the clock to their advantage. Goldberg, back of the goal, working out up high. This is Udell. Hasn't scored as many goals, but he's been as big of a factor in this game as he was last week in Ann Arbor. Michigan knows that time is on their side. Once again, that outlet pass in front. They can't get a shot this time. Dobick tried to center it, but Cullen Brown came out with it, and he leads a counter charge for the Buckeyes. Swung it down for Marinier. Hocker dodging his man, but good recovery by Rowan Clay, the all Big Ten defender. After it looked for a moment like Hocker maybe had a half a step on him, he was able to close it down again very quickly. Now it's Solberg for Haas. Back of the goal, cut off, then the pass. It's right there for Solberg, the shot, and I believe that Hunter Taylor got a piece of that on that great setup from Haas. And a timeout with 4:04 remaining in regulation. Michigan leading 11-8. And they came up with a big stop there. We'll be right back on Big Ten Plus. Mention the two transfer players. And let's see who can step up for one of these teams now, defensively for Michigan or offensively for Ohio State in the waning moments. Some good moves there by Solberg, showing great maneuverability. But again, not able to forge an advantage. Down to 14 seconds. They've really been run down on the shot clock many times here and have to try to hastily get a shot on goal when there really isn't one. And it happens again. They force an errant pass. And that Michigan defense, Ohio State came in as the defense with the big reputation, but Michigan has matched them in this game.
Ohio State's been trying to use their athletic ability to get by these defenders, but Michigan just holding strong.
Clay going for the unguarded net, shot it wide.
And Ohio State going desperation here, pulling Caleb Fyack to go Jack Allen in favor of speed from a goaltender.
It's like a hockey game where they pull their goalie early because they know they need more than just one goal. But unlike Ohio State did earlier to help get back into the game, they couldn't find the goal on that long shot. Ohio State coming again. Marinier dished it off. 3 minutes to go. Haas trying to create some late game magic as he did earlier, but his shot is blocked. And out come the Wolverines again.
Ohio State looks like they're getting desperate right now, and some of the chances just not quality.
They're just having to throw anything they can at the goal. Jack Allen is in goal now, but he's also coming out as they try to get every single man involved in the attack. And they create a turnover there. They were down to 2:28 to go. The pass is out to Blake Island. They almost have to score here and not use up that much time doing it.
Bare minimum, you can't turn over the ball.
Haas beat his man, but that second defender came and prevented a shot. Then he threw it out in front, and that one up, and away. As Liam White had to really release it in a hurry as he was being pressured. And Michigan is the team that would be delaying the game right now. It is Roode over there in the box, and Ohio State got a chance. That's what they needed, is a man up. But their shot was stopped, and Michigan came up with it, and they'll be able to take out the rest of the man down time and quite possibly salt away this game now. And as their defense rose to the occasion yet again, keeping Ohio State from scoring in that last-ditch man-up opportunity. And now it is Gatto. Look at him beat two players cutting in front, and a timeout was called just before he made his move. Michigan won the Big Ten tournaments in 23 and 24, and they are a team that has shown that they're battle-tested when it comes to these elimination-type games, and they have really come to play here today. But here's Ohio State with an opportunity, and they must score and waste no time in doing so if they want to keep any hopes of a last-minute comeback. That ball could not be handled by Haas. Again, they're just really pressing now to make the plays, and it's turning against them as Haas lost it again, and that should really wrap it up for Michigan. As Haas twice had it and lost it, the second time he couldn't recover it, just trying so hard to make something happen. The net is empty. Michigan even ignoring that, as they know all they have to do is run out the clock. And after the way they lost last week's game and lost a chance to share a Big Ten title, to come back here to Columbus and do this has got to be very, very fulfilling for them. That long pass, it cannot be snagged by Hocker. 15 seconds to go. And it's going to be the Michigan Wolverines advancing to the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament against Johns Hopkins as they come into Columbus and defeat the Ohio State Buckeyes 11-8. And what a difference a week can make in the way that you feel after a game.